Well guys, pistol's almost finished. All I've got to do now is make a sight mount for the back. The reason I'm putting that on is because Bauer, the German that made the original one of these, I hope I'm pronouncing him right, he had a red dot sight mounted on the back and I think it looked pretty smart, so I'm going to do the same. Now in his mount he had a spring clip which held the bolts in position. Now I've decided against that. What I'm going to try and do is, the bolts I've ordered are 16 centimeters long. They've got a steel tip. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some magnets to hold the bolt in position. I've found these magnets which are really strong. They hold this bar, and this is a steel bar. It's heavier than the bolt I've ordered. But when it comes to sliding, there's almost no friction. So I think this is a good idea. I'm going to give it a go anyway. I don't know if it'll work. After that, I'm going to tidy it up a little bit and give it a protective coat. When I've done that, I've got to fit the elastics. But I've got about a week to wait before they turn up. You guys have only got a minute. So, let's get making. This is the same size as the bolts that I've ordered, and the tip on the bolt is 22 millimeters. So if the bolt fits in here, it means the tip will be just here. So I'm going to fit the magnets inside the groove. Well, I've got the magnets in. They're nice and smooth. You can't feel them. They're fixed in position. And I've got this, which is a steel bar. It's longer than the bolts that I've ordered. And because it's steel, it's heavier than the bolts that I've ordered. So if the magnets will hold this, they'll hold the bolts easily. Let's give it a go. Look at that, dead easy. And what about how easy it is to release it? Oh, it's no problem whatsoever. Try again. No problem. That's brilliant. Dead pleased with that. As it says in the title, I'm making this out of offcuts of wood. And this is the piece that was left over from when I made the main body of the gun. As you can see, it's not a very nice piece of wood, but once I've stripped all the surface off, there's a nice piece of wood underneath it, and I'm going to make the sight mount out of this. Now I just have to router the groove rails with this bit. The elastic's turned up, fantastic. I've got two problems to sort out now though. One is the pulleys, they're not quite big enough for this elastic. It just keeps jumping off, so I'm going to have to make two new pulleys. The other problem is the firing mechanism. Hope you can see this. I was thinking it'll just release when you pull the trigger, but instead it just takes it down inside the hole with it. So I've got to come up with a solution to fix this. I'm sure I'll do something. I have to do, otherwise I'll never get it working. Better do it today as well. Let's get on with it. I've made the two pulleys, just tighten them up now. Then I can fit the elastics, and I've just got that one more problem to sort out, and then we're done. I can test it, hopefully. Perfect. I've come up with a solution. What I've made is I've made this pin. This pin fits, or it gets glued inside this tube. Now the glue itself is strong enough to hold this. I've given it a test, but I've put a groove into this pin, and what I'm going to do is double secure it by tying a string around there, so the string pulls the elastic into the groove and it's double security. This should fit behind here, and when I pull the trigger it'll release. Well, that's my theory anyway. I suppose if that's under pressure. Oh yeah, it seems to work. Well, I'll give it a go. Now that I've got this fitted, the firing mechanism works perfectly. The only problem is now, the elastics keep jumping off. And the reason for that is because of this piece of wood. even though it weighs less than a gram, the energy that comes forward with it is enough to drag the elastics off the pulleys. I've swapped it round for a second. I've put the piece of wood on the back just to show you that without that piece of wood, the elastic fired from the same place and it stays on. Try again. No problems. So I'm thinking, once I get the bolt, maybe the weight of the bolt, the friction of the bolt, might just be enough to slow the elastic down that ever so slight amount, just to keep the elastics on the pulleys. But I won't know until my bolts turn up. And I've had an email today saying they're going to be another 2 to 3 weeks because this coronavirus is affecting the post. So the only thing I can do, or the only thing I've done, is I've made a bolt. It's not the same material, it's not balanced, it's not got a steel tip. Well, it's just for testing purposes, but I'm going to try it with this just to see if I can get it working. I better put my goggles on for this because anything could happen. These can be pretty dangerous. I think it goes without saying that if you accidentally set it... Sorry mate. Here's what happened earlier. The bolts that I've ordered haven't turned up yet. But when they do... Oh no. I better fit this sight, and then at least I can see what I'm aiming at. Well, I imagine that once the proper bolts turn up, I'm going to have a lot of fun with this. I better go. Catch you next time.